an ugly sweater cake. I already made the cake, and I'm also gonna make it easy because I'm using ready-made icing. So I put 2 pots of vanilla frosting, bought at the supermarket in little tubs, and I put them into this bowl with some green gel food coloring. Okay, I'm gonna keep mixing until this icing is the color of green that it is intended to be. Don't go away. So basically, I want to totally coat this cake in the green frosting. Okay, so now that the canvas of the cake is ready, I'm going to start adding the details. So I'm going to add, this is, by the way, store-bought icing as well. And I'm basically going to make a Y shape. And this is supposed to be like the fluffy trim of your Christmas sweater. And then it's just about decorating. I got to do buttons for the sweater.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I thought it'd be fun to do dark buttons. I'm already loving it. This is like a light strand. And then take bell-shaped candies and just kind of set them straight on the cake. You don't even have to unwrap them. Just kind of decorate to our heart's content here. Look. Isn't that cute? Okay, what about sprinkles?
Yes.
Okay, put one kind of sprinkle on this side. Over here. I'm basically gonna go too far on this and mess it all up. Now I'll start by making the cookie dough. I've got 2 sticks of softened butter. They go right into the mixer. And the second stick goes right in. And then 2 cups of sugar. This is such an easy recipe and it has all the good things of life. Now I'll just turn the mixer on and let it work for a minute and cream these together. You know, when you make brownies, you have to let them cool, cut them into squares. But with the cookies, you just bake them up, pull them right off the cookie sheet and eat them. They're just an easy way to get brownies in your mouth. The butter and sugar are all creamed together. So I'll turn the mixer to the lowest setting and I'll drizzle in the chocolate. This is what makes the brownie cookies brownie cookies. Now I use bittersweet chocolate and I just melted it in the microwave, and it's really, really important to let it cool completely. If you don't, once it hits that butter, it'll start to melt it. It'll just ruin everything. Now this is looking great. I'm just gonna bump up the speed just a bit. Okay, that's all mixed together, so I'll go back down to low and I'll drop in 3 eggs, just one at a time. I already cracked them in the pitcher just to make it easier to add. And the third one. Now I'll also splash in a little bit of vanilla to give it delicious flavor. And that's it for the wet ingredients. Now I'll move forward with the dry. Starts with 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I love these 2-cup measures. They are so handy. Get the 1/4 cup. And then to really drive home the chocolate part of these brownies, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. And if that wasn't quite enough, I'll add another tablespoon. These are unmistakably chocolatey. A teaspoon of baking powder and just 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that's it for the dry ingredients. You know, I really cannot believe that Alex is already up and out the door. There is nothing like when your oldest child leaves home. It's uniquely wonderful and terrible, but mostly wonderful. I'll turn the mixer on low, and I just need to add the dry ingredients. I don't want to add too much at once, or I'll have a big poof of cocoa flour. Rest of the dry ingredients go in. All right, that's the last of it. Now I just have to give it a couple seconds to mix all in. It looks delicious, which is exactly what you want at this stage. Now I've just got to get the dough scooped out and onto the cookie sheets. I should get about 36 cookies out of this. I got the cookies scooped out, all 36 of them. They look delicious already. They just need to bake in a 350-degree oven for about 11 to 12 minutes. When the time was up and the cookies were all poofed and set, I took them out of the oven, let them cool for a couple of minutes on the pan, and then I transferred them to wire racks and let them cool completely. After that, I sprinkled them generously with powdered sugar And I packed them in a tin, all ready for Alex's care package. I think those are gonna be the perfect thing to satisfy Alex's sweet tooth. So the next meal kit I'm making for the kids isn't exactly a meal, it's dessert. I am going to make a holiday brownie kit. It actually has components for decorating the brownies. So if I need to keep them busy and give them a task to do, that'll take care of it right there. So the brownies actually begin with brown butter. So I have been browning the butter, and just in the last few seconds, it started to get that beautiful golden nutty color. That is the best way to start a batch of brownies. So of course I've got to add chocolate, and I have two kinds of chocolate to add at this stage. Chopped bittersweet chocolate and just unsweetened cocoa powder. So it's good to add it when the butter is really sizzly and hot, because then it'll take care of melting the chocolate for you. And I have to say, even though I cried when each of my children left the house to go on to the next stage in their life, I also kind of got used to them being gone once they were gone. And there have been times over the past few years when they're all home that I'll just look around and say, would you all please exit my kitchen immediately? I need some peace and quiet. They don't take it personally, they understand. All right, so this chocolate is just about totally melted. So I am gonna sweeten things up by adding regular sugar, a whole bunch, and powdered sugar. Basically, this brownie recipe is incredible. It's my basic brownie recipe, but only recently have I started browning the butter first. And you wouldn't think it would make that much of a difference, but oh, it does. So now I have 6 eggs to add, and I'm gonna add them one at a time, stirring well after each one. So here goes with 1, then the rest, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The eggs are mixed in. So now it's time for the flour. Very basic, beautiful ingredients in these brownies. Nothing complicated about them. So when the flour is just about all mixed in, that's when I add the third kind of chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I add them toward the end of making the batter because I want them to stay kind of together, and then when the brownies bake, they add just an extra richness and gooiness to the brownies. Oh, this looks so good. These are rich chocolate brownies. Okay, so I have a sheet pan that I'm gonna bake the brownies in, and I lined it with parchment and sprayed the parchment paper because I don't want the brownies to stick. And this is quite a big pan of brownies. You can cut this recipe in half if you want to, and just bake it in a smaller pan. But as I said, the Drummond kids are coming to town, and they are a very tall people. And they are a chocolate-loving people. Especially Todd, my one kid who's still at home. I'm telling you, that child is a sweets addict. He loves chocolate. I'd say he will probably polish off at least a third of this pan himself. Okay, got it all spread out. The brownie batter looks incredible. So now I'm gonna bake the brownies, take them out and let them cool, and make the buttercream. So first, to bake the brownies, I'll put them in a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes, remove them when they're just set, and let them cool. Next, I'll start the buttercream. I'll add 8 cups of powdered sugar to 4 sticks of room temperature salted butter, along with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and beat them until they're smooth and fluffy. Then I'll divide the buttercream between 3 bowls, add green coloring to one, enough to get some really good color, and mix it in. I'll add red food coloring to bowl 2. Again, you want a really strong color. Mix that in, and put lids on my festive buttercreams ready for the kit. I'll just get the buttercream onto the sheet pan, along with cute little Christmas candies and sprinkles. So for the brownies, I'm gonna cut these up into squares, And you can make them as large or as small as you want. I kind of like making them on the big side, and then there's plenty of canvas for the decorating. So while I cut these up, let me show you how this holiday brownie kit becomes holiday brownies. So you take a brownie square, get to work with the colored buttercream, and decorate with fun holiday candy and sprinkles. How cute is that? There's so many ways the kids can create their merry masterpieces. Well, that's just a few of the ways the brownies might come together. I hope the buttercream doesn't wind up all over the kitchen. That's happened before too. All right, I'm sealing up the brownies in a container, and that is the brownie kit. So I'm gonna actually keep it in the fridge just so the buttercream stays nice and fresh. See if I can fit it in here with this glorious soup kit. Okay, good to go. I wish the kids would hurry up and get here. I'm ready for the holiday fun to start. So I'm gonna make a batch of cute little cheesecake Santa hats. They are all the rage, and I am very excited to take them to Missy's house. Okay, I'm gonna make a crumb crust first. I've already made half of the crumb mixture. It's such a big batch, I had to split it in two. I put some vanilla sandwich cookies in a food processor, and I'm just pulsing them up. Okay, they're pretty much broken up. Now I need to dye these reddish pink. So I have a mixture. I started with 2 sticks of butter and a tablespoon of red food dye. And I'm gonna pulse it while I drizzle the other half of it in. Okay, I got the red color evenly distributed. Now, I want to mix these with the crumbs that I already made because the second batch of butter had a little bit more dye. So I'm just going to stir them together and pretend I did them all at once. I'm going to pour them into a pan. I've got a 9 by 13 inch pan, and I lined it with parchment and then really greased the parchment well. I'm going to use a stainless measuring cup to press the crumbs into the pan. Okay, I need to get the crumbs into the oven. They're gonna bake at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. And while they bake, I'm gonna make the delicious cheesecake mixture. I'll start with 3 packages of softened cream cheese. These are gonna make a lot of Santas. I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of sugar. And then I'll turn the mixer on and let it start to work. I don't want it to get too complacent. It's the holidays. I'll add a splash of vanilla, about 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, now I'm gonna add 4 eggs one at a time, and I'll give each egg a chance to mix in. And in goes the 4th. And the last thing to add is sour cream, about 1/2 cup. Hey, this mixture is good to go. So I am gonna grab those crumbs out of the oven. They smell so good. Now the good news is I don't have to let the crumbs cool because this is gonna go back into the oven. All right, now it goes back into the oven. I have a little bit of a trick though when I make cheesecake. I wanna create some steam in the oven because it just helps it bake more evenly. So I've got some hot water, and these 2 pans are gonna go into the oven. The cheesecake goes on the middle rack, and then I'll put the hot water right below it. Okay, I'm gonna let this bake for 45 minutes, and then I have a few more steps before the Santas show up. So the cheesecake bakes for 45 minutes, then I'll turn the oven off, open the door, and leave the pan to sit there for 15 minutes. Then take it out to cool. This takes 2 hours, along with another 2 hours chilling in the fridge. The next step is to remove the cheesecake and get to work with a 2-inch round pastry cutter, carefully punching out circles. These will be the bottom of the little Santa hats. I'll put them on a sheet pan for convenience, and when they're all done, they go back into the fridge. I made a delicious cream mixture. I started with whipped cream and then added some softened mascarpone cheese, some powdered sugar. I'm gonna use this to pipe little rims around Santa's hat. Now I'll go around just inside the circle with a little fluff. And then I'll grab a strawberry. I took off the stems and I'll stick it right on top. How cute is that? To have something a little sweet on the table, I'm making quick and easy peppermint fudge. There are basically 3 ingredients. It couldn't be easier, and it's really surprisingly delicious. Now I just added 3 cups of chocolate chips to a double boiler, and I'll just pour in a can of sweetened condensed milk. This stuff is the nectar of the gods. All right, and then I'll just stir these together and let them melt really slowly. Okay, this is just about melted. So I'll spray the pan. I just have a little square pan and I lined it in foil, and that'll make the fudge easier to take out of the pan. That should be enough. Now I thought it'd be really fun to top the fudge with crushed peppermints. You can use any kind of candy you want or colored sprinkles. I really like chocolate and mint together. So I'm just gonna crush these up. It's gonna be loud. Goodness, the kids are gonna run in here in a minute and find out what's wrong. Okay, that's good. I still have some bigger chunks so you can see what the candy is, but mostly it's all broken up. All right, let me check the chocolate mixture. All right, it's great. Now, it's kind of like a marshmallow fluff texture at this point. This looks perfect. Now, I'll just pour it into the pan. And you have to act really fast. As soon as I get it in there, I'm gonna start spreading it out because it sets up really quickly. Okay, this looks just great. Now I'm gonna pop the pan in the fridge until the fudge is totally set, and then I'll cut it into squares for the buffet. I'll just lift the fudge right out of the pan, and this is the advantage of lining the pan with foil. And now I'm gonna slice the fudge into little squares and put it on this cake stand.